All right, well, I just want to finish this up real quick, because of course, once again, a lot of these films are horror films. Horror does not have. It's always funny when people deride horror films. Oh, it's not a horror film; it's a thriller. Whatever. What has stood the test of time, man? You always come back to horror, and of course, you're always gonna come back to gothic horror. Right? Gothic horror speaks, at least it speaks to demographically for now. It speaks to people of our persuasion, which is to say the white people, right? The European. Messiah of Evil. I've mentioned that movie before, and this guy never heard of them. A Night of the Devils. I saw this too. This is actually, both films are pretty cool films. It's Messiah of Evil I described as like a Lovecraftian film. This is more in the vein of the Verdelak and Black Sabbath with Boris Karloff. Apparently, they're making a remake of that from Europe, so that's interesting. Both films are similar. It's like the whole idea of you have someone in an asylum claiming something happened, and then you see the flashback, and then you wonder, were they crazy or was it real? Right? Of course, I always, me, my rule in these goings down rule is that no, the person wasn't crazy, it was real. That's just me. Of course, there's I never saw this film, Targets, the famous film with Boris Karloff, where he's like a horror host, but there's a guy actually like pulling a Charles Whitman, like killing people. So and somehow he gets in the middle of it. I've never seen that. I need to see the Barbara Steele. She's still alive, I'm pretty sure. So, but. The Alamo. Remember the Alamo? Yeah, it's funny too. Like they mentioned, the real Alamo is, if you go to the real Alamo, first off, San Antonio is like the seventh largest city in America. It's huge. Getting there, it's very urban. It's like driving through Queens. Okay, then you get there and it looks like downtown Brooklyn. Okay, it's surrounded by urban, stuff. Let's say, touristy stuff. Just lots and lots of people, and then you have this building here. It actually is kind of depressing. I drove past it. I said, I'm not even gonna bother. Why am I gonna bother, man? I had no idea San Antonio was so populated. But regardless, of course, the Alamo. You got this man, John Wayne, directing. Oh, John Wayne, the evil John Wayne. And I love too when they bring up, oh, John Wayne. He didn't fight in World War II. Good. That makes me like him even more. You can't come at someone like me with this stuff, because anyway, you get the exteriors. Of course, this is not the Alamo. This was the recreated one, further when it looked more rural, because it was. And just see, like I said, always more horror, right? In fact, what is it? The Girl from Rio. This is a Jess Franco film. What year was that? This looks like it has to be at least the 80s. I mean, Jess Franco's weird, but he made like movies that looked like they were $100 to make, but then he would have access to people, And when he wanted to, man, Franco could make pretty good. I'll stick up for the guy, man. Of course, Beast from the Haunted Cave. This is another Roger Corman film. This is actually, this wasn't shown on TV a lot. I saw this, man. This thing, man. It's a nasty monster, and it shows it drinking and sucking the blood out of the trapped people that are in the cave. It's pretty. Check it out, man. I'm sure it's on YouTube. And this book, I've seen this advertised in The Dark Side, the amazing movie posters of Thailand, right? And you see that this interesting. Apparently, you figure that they make a poster. You're gonna make one poster, and you're gonna send it around the world and just translate it. But it's amazing how the original art in different countries, even neighboring countries, would make all these different intricate painted posters. Okay, usually with a lot going on, you want to get across what's in the film. So, like I said, where photography, art, sound, music, all these things come together in cinema, right? Moving pictures. And here's Scorpio. I never heard of this guy, Michael Winner. This is the guy that did Death Wish, right? One of my favorite films. Apparently the guy was a prick, right? But there was the one where the one guy threatened to beat him up because he was being real abusive to one of the actresses. But whatever. This is an interesting film. Remember this guy? Remember that guy? Remember he was what's his name from Battlestar Galactica? Of course, Burt Lancaster. Just say Lancaster. Alain Delon, right? The French actor. Oh no, the right wing French person. Oh, so you got the cue cards. Anyway, I don't know. I never saw this film, but I thought it was interesting. They make a good comment, and this, you know what? This is where like, okay, you get a little controversial, but not really. Right? This isn't right. Scorpio represents this film, a bygone era in cinema during which studios made plenty of mid-range films that they hoped would generate modest profits. This is in contrast to today's insane practice of gambling an entire studio's financial health on one or two overblown productions in the hope that they will be blockbusters. In his day, many critics dismissed Michael Winner as a hack. However, compared to many of today's filmmakers, he practically looks like a master of his craft. Scorpio is also a film that makes me appreciate all the more how much I miss stars like Burt Lancaster and Paul Scofield. Right, well, like I said, that's the whole thing with this. In the end, there's a degree of melancholia in this with nostalgia. Like Andy Nowicki always brings up, rightly. Yeah, a lot of these people are gone, man. You know, the youngest people in these things are older than your grandparents. But that's how it is. And, hey, you want to guess? Do I like this? Do you think I like this film? What do you think? So I don't like friggin' musicals, but there's a reason I don't like this film. I also don't like that Disney film with what's her name, Angela Lansbury. Was it Broomsticks and something? I don't like. For some reason, it always reminded me of this film too. I don't like these films. Why do I not like these films? Let's see if you can guess why. If you're familiar with those, so yeah, and. And that's it, man. It's what a great magazine, man. Cinema. I'm gonna get every one of these, man. This is good. I don't have enough money to friggin' spend, man. Yeah, but it's worth it, man. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and there's movie, and also I know, yeah, I can't see every day a movie. There's movies in here to for me to check out that I wasn't aware of, like Zeppelin. So, and then I always thought this. I'm trying to remember this. This is funny. What could have been? Can you imagine? Let's stop fighting. Let's go after the Anglos. Yes. No. Okay. Enough. I'm just kidding. All right. Later.